Aquinas College and the Eagles of Reinhardt University. The National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics and its member schools are committed to promoting character development in collegiate athletics by embracing the values of integrity.
Take a look at some of the top plays from an outstanding week of men's lacrosse. We started with 8 teams underneath overcast skies, and we've seen a little bit of everything so far at Aquinas College. Fantastic saves, outstanding offense and defense. Some of the top players in the country have been on display. We've Euro-stepped our way through the week, and now we have a championship field set. It is the Aquinas Saints taking on the Reinhardt Eagles for the title in NAIA men's lacrosse. And we welcome you back to Aquinas College in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Reinhardt takes on Aquinas with a title trophy on the line. And welcome to our broadcast, everybody, alongside Tyler Kuehl. My name is Chris Fosters. Good to be with you on what's a packed weekend here at Aquinas College. But what's got you excited about the matchup on the field?
Well, you have the back-to-back defending National Invitational champs in Reinhardt. They have not faltered once. They only lost 1 game all season, have had an incredible run. But then you have the Aquinas Saints here. They may have lost their WAC championship game, but in this tournament they have dominated in front of a good home crowd. Commencement today, too. A lot of people on campus. A lot of excitement here for today's matchup.
Let's talk a little bit about Aquinas College first, and they are the road team, strictly speaking, even though they are the host school, because they are the lower seed in this matchup. But they've got 2 of the best attackers in the nation, including Cam Rogers.
Cam Rogers, number 91, the Windsor senior, has been phenomenal all season long. School record 106 points, leading the NAIA, including 3 goals and 6 assists yesterday, and has had 13 points, which leads the entire tournament. Him, along with Sam Klinsky, have been the dynamic duo all year here for the Saints.
That's right. They provide perhaps the best 1-2 punch in all of NAIA men's lacrosse this year. We were talking a little bit about what makes Reinhardt so good. They can beat you in a lot of different ways that are very deep. Zane Anderson is the NAIA Player of the Year, but Gavin Banks scored 6 goals in the semifinal yesterday.
Yeah, and that's something he's been doing all year with the help of guys like Zane Anderson. But the 6 goals in that semifinal, 11 in the entire tournament, with 5 goals coming in that quarterfinal matchup. He leads the entire NAIA with 80 goals this season, and it's been something he's done all year. He's showing he's a sophomore, but he shows the experience that a lot of other players his age do not quite have.
Once again, our matchup today, Reinhardt versus Aquinas. Reinhardt goes for the three-peat. Aquinas goes for the win in the national title match on home turf. We've got a good one in store. We'll be back right after this for our keys to the game and opening face-off. Welcome back to Aquinas College. We're going through the starting lineups on the field right now, moments away from face-off between Reinhardt and Aquinas. Tyler, take me through your keys to the game, beginning with the Aquinas Saints.
Well, the number 6 team has earned the right to be here, but they're going to have to win the face-off battles. They have one of the best in Werner. He's won 71.3% of faceoffs here. That's showing why he's an All-American. Keeping the emotions in check will be big too, because they have the home field advantage. Getting a little excited. They took a lot of penalties yesterday, so they're going to have to keep that down against a Reinhardt team. And of course, like that goes into limiting the penalties, because you do not want to allow Reinhardt too many chances with the man up, because this offensive attack will control the game at times for the Eagles.
How does Aquinas respond if they fall behind in this game? Something we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on. Speaking of Reinhardt, let's go through their keys to the game.
Well, playing with the lead has been their thing for the majority of this season. They've only trailed a handful of times, none at all in this tournament. When they do have the lead, they will use the shot clock to their advantage. You'll see it a lot. You see Zane Anderson will kind of just sit at midfield. He's not going to rush. He's going to use up all 80 of those seconds along with the Eagles offense, and limiting Rogers and Klinsky. A dynamic duo, however, that's pretty much it. Alongside Walker West, those are the only three guys on Aquinas that have 30-point plus scores, where Reinhardt has 6. So the lack of depth for Aquinas, Reinhardt's going to try to expose that here this afternoon.
Contrasting styles on the attacking end. Everything for Aquinas goes through two guys for the most part, and Reinhardt is a very deep team offensively with a lot of very capable scorers. Of course, you don't get to this point in any season without outstanding goalkeeping, and for Aquinas, Clayton Boerichter on the left with the long hair has been outstanding in this tournament. He's racked up 20 saves, but Matt Webb is an All-American for Reinhardt.
Yeah, 15 goals against. He hasn't had as much work as he probably had against some other teams, but you don't have a .657 save percentage and 65 saves in this tournament without having some skill. As you can see, Webb and Boerichter touching gloves, and they get set here. It's going to be important for Boerichter to stop, be the last line of defense for this Aquinas team to make the big saves. And like you see for Matt Webb as he gets ready for his defense here, like I said, watching out for Klinsky and Rogers. It's going to be the big matchup here in this championship game.
Aquinas College, once again, the home team, based right here in East Grand Rapids. Reinhardt comes all the way up from Waleska, Georgia, in the northern part of the state. Well, Tyler, you were just talking about Sam Werner in the face-off circle for Aquinas, and here he is ready to go to begin the championship match against Reinhardt. Reinhardt sends Hunter Scott to the X to get things going. Good to be with you on this overcast Saturday in southwestern Michigan. That's Dan Dietrich with a dish onto the wing. Tipped back off the cross on a return feed and out of bounds. Tyler Kuehl, Chris Foster's on hand. Alex Bousquet is our producer.
Yeah, you're going to have to limit those turnovers if you're going to be Aquinas. You're going to have to take advantage of every offensive opportunity, because Reinhardt does not miss much when they have possession.
And there is Zane Anderson, the recently named NAIA Player of the Year. He wears number 2 in white and has had a relatively quiet tournament, all things considered. To the point of Reinhardt's depth, other teams have certainly contributed for Reinhardt offensively, and Anderson has been more of a role player. Reinhardt very much a ball control attack. Jarrett swings it around behind, and from the X position, a throw in front leaks back out to neutral. There was some contact inside the 8-yard arc as Gavin Banks actually was knocked down, and so Reinhardt gets it back following the foul.
Yeah, I think that was a sorry Kanadu that got in there and knocked him, and what could have been a turnover for the Saints ends up costing him back as Eagles will get possession back. But yeah, Aquinas is going to have to be really patient defensively, because they know how, like I said, Reinhardt likes to hold the ball and not press. They don't have to. A lot of teams in this tournament have gotten a little antsy defensively, allowing those openings for the Eagles. Aquinas is going to have to be patient here on the defensive side.
90-second shot clock. That is a new addition to the sport of lacrosse. So it's not like Reinhardt can sit on the ball forever. But Reinhardt has won 2 relatively low-scoring games to get to the championship. They have not reached their goal-per-game average of nearly 19 in either of their first 2 games here at the Invitational Tournament. That's Mills with a shot and a score. And Reinhardt opens the scoring less than 2 minutes into the championship match.
Goal by number 10, Connor
Just a
Mills.
good play there by Mills, kind of getting Ryder moving from side to side and shooting that one back across, despite Bo Ryder using that left-handed stick like he likes to hold it. Couldn't quite get the same angle that he would like on it, and just getting the goaltender moving is very important here. It is now the Eagles able to jump out in front here early.
And Reinhardt looked fired up, too. Even though they are the 1 seed in the tournament, you get the sense that this is a road-type atmosphere for the Eagles going for their 3rd straight national championship.
As that was early, just a good play, too, like by Mills, and that's why he's one of the top scorers in this tournament here for the Eagles.
Mills with his 40th goal of the season. Werner shakes off contact. That's going to be a penalty, as Werner was almost roped down around the shoulders. And now Aquinas is sitting pretty with Klinsky behind the net, and a pass off to Cam Rogers, his battery mate. 2 of the top scorers in the country this year, Sam Klinsky, number 88, and Cam Rogers, number 91. Rogers with it, and he backs outside of the box.
Saints are trying to play the Eagles game right now, being very patient here, especially knowing that they're going to have a penalty coming up here.
Rogers lost it. You rarely see that. Strong defense by Jacob Samuels. Reinhardt's 6'4" senior defender from Woodstock, Georgia. And with that turnover, the penalty takes effect. And it is Jalen McCray who steps into the box for a 30-second technical foul after a hold. And correction, it appears that penalty is actually on Bennett Jarrett.
Or it looks like they're going to have Scott sit, and then they were going to have Jarrett sit, as they would be probably the guy to go on. But an opportunity here for the Saints early to tie this one back up.
Extra man for Aquinas. Reinhardt was penalized just 3 times in its semifinal win yesterday. Rogers with a pass to Highshetter in front. He was pushed from behind, and the shot was deflected away right as it got to Matt Webb in goal. Klinsky right back to Rogers. Thrown across. Here's West. Beautiful thread right across the crease, but no shot there for Klinsky. It tips off the stick of Highshetter, and it's gathered by Reinhardt. McCray shovels it off to Jarrett. We're back to even strength right now. Some hacking right along the sideline, and here's a breakaway that was brewing momentarily for Reinhardt until Gavin Banks decided to tap the brakes. About 3.5 minutes in, and it's Reinhardt on top 1-0 in the first quarter.
That was a missed opportunity there with the man up for the Saints. Now the Eagles will look to try to make them pay with this offensive possession.
Reinhardt is 15-1 on the season. They represent the Appalachian Athletic Conference. They were the champions of that conference this year and were an automatic qualifier to the invitational field. Tyler Chavis wheels around and dumps it down low. Here's Zane Anderson, the NAIA Player of the Year, on the move. He centers himself, shoots, and scores.
Zane Anderson showing off the speed with that play, able to make his way from the side. You can see that's why he was so far down to the left here, able to cut through the middle. But Anderson, like you said, showing why he is the NAIA Player of the Year. That goal coming at the 4:07 mark, excuse me. But a good start here for the Eagles. And you can see just that little bit of room, allowing that run to get up there, getting around Coleman to the outside, then dodges way to the middle. Not really much the goaltender, Bo Ryder, could have done that with such a good shot there by Anderson.
An unassisted goal as well. And Tyler, you and I just talked about this. Anderson with a relatively quiet invitational so far, just 5 points for him through the first 2 games for Reinhardt, but he picks up a big goal there. And Reinhardt enjoying a multi-goal lead. So this is one thing that we wondered at the top. How would Aquinas respond to trailing like this? Aquinas has been on an emotional roller coaster as the host team, playing in their first invitational in program history. They set a school record this year with 12 wins. And how do they respond to some adversity and really settle into this game? Treat it like, if you can, any other contest.
Looking at it from one side, though, the two teams they played in the quarterfinals, semifinals were WAC opponents, so they were a little familiar. Obviously not having to play this Eagles team yet. It's going to be interesting to see how they adjust their strategies here as they go forward throughout this contest.
And that is a great point. Aquinas' first two opponents in the tournament were conference rivals in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, as it's jarred loose and caroms to Webb in goal. Aquinas qualified for the 2019 NAIA Invitational with an at-large bid. They did not win the WAC, despite posting a 7-1 conference record. But they defeated conference foes Lawrence Tech in the quarterfinal and Indiana Tech yesterday in the semis to get just one win away from a national title.
Now, like we see with the lead especially, the Eagles are not going to press. They will ounce every second here. And this is where you're going to see the merit of the Saints defense here after giving up those 2 goals.
Huffman staggers and throws it behind. This is Bennett Jarrett. Flag comes in as Sam Asare Kanadu spilled Gavin Banks right outside of the crease. And Reinhardt is going to have an extra man here after a push.
Asare Kanadu thinking he didn't give him too much contact. However, the ref just says otherwise. 30-second man-up opportunity here. Like we said off the top, it's going to be, you cannot allow this Eagles team too many opportunities like this or they can burn you, as they have done throughout this entire year.
And penalties are something that you might point to for Aquinas as an area for improvement so far in this tournament. That's their 14th penalty of the invitational tournament so far. 7 in the quarterfinal and 6 in the semis. Anderson winds up and shoots it wide to the left of Bo Richter.
And if you're Bo Richter, obviously having those first 2 get by him, how is his confidence feeling right now despite having such a good tournament up until this point?
Yes. That one is grounded to the right side of Bo Richter that time from Tyler Chavis, who had a 2-goal performance for Reinhardt in its semifinal win yesterday. Swung back to Anderson, down low, a hook shot and a score by Bennett Jarrett. And Reinhardt looks awfully good in the early stages of the first quarter. They lead 3-0.
Eagles goal by
won't count as a man-up goal as the penalty had just expired. Nonetheless, the all-important 3-0 lead here. Great start here from the number 1 team. As Bennett Jarrett, who's been the second leading scorer in this tournament for the Eagles, coming into today with a grand total of 8 points, already now a goal. That's his 7th of the tournament. And once again, just good ball movement on the outside. Huffman down to Anderson, down for Jarrett, and you can't leave a guy open like that. And obviously, Bo Richter, he's going to want that one from the bad angle shot. He has yet to make a save so far here in just almost the first half of this first quarter.
After 20 saves in the first 2 games of the tournament, Bo Richter has let 3 in, and this is the ultimate sign that things are going Reinhardt's way. Well, hold that thought. It looked like they were going to win that faceoff, something that does not happen very often with Sam Werner on the X for Aquinas, but the ball rolled out of play. Nash West checks in off the bench of Doug Seitz.
Like we said, we talked about the emotion for this team now. Obviously, like their first championship game they've ever been into. How are the adrenaline maybe running a little too high here? Maybe the sticks gripping a little too tight right now by the Saints here. They just kind of need to loosen up here and get back to what they've been doing all tournament long.
This is Blake Baker. Scooped up by Walker West, who had a 2-goal performance for Aquinas in the semifinal. Rogers around the screen. Throws it in front, and that was an outstanding save by Webb coming off the cross of Nash West. Reinhardt wins the rebound, and here comes McCray through center. there haven't been any second chance opportunities for Aquinas either.
Yeah, no, as soon as the first shot goes, whether it's an intercepted pass or a block there by Webb, I think that may have been Hollis getting in there as well. Jack Hollis, the defender, number 13 for the Eagles. But nonetheless, those rebounds are quickly picked up by either Webb or one of the defenders for the Eagles. Like I said, not allowing Aquinas any opportunity to get those second or third chances where the Eagles have had so far in this game. As you can hear probably from the sideline, Torch Larry the call from the bench.
Swung around to Chavis. In front, that was Banks who couldn't handle it. Anderson around a defender, and he puts another one in. Reinhardt is sniping everything past Clayton Boerichter.
And it's almost all similar shots. Low ones just inside the post. Picture perfect, putting a little ball in the pocket. As Anderson's able to get his second of the game. A 4-0 lead now here for the Eagles. And a timeout taken by the Saints now trying to slow down this attack. As you can see once again, Anderson fights off the check there by Asari Kanadu and just tucks one in. And I think if you're Clayton Boerichter, you're obviously trying to take the timeout as a second reprieve for yourself because of the fact they haven't made a save yet, and maybe their confidence maybe a little shaken here, like the rest, as you can see, the rest of the, not just the defensive side for the Saints, but the offense too, a little out of sorts here in the first 7 minutes or so.
So we were wondering what Torch Larry might have been, and I guess that was it, and we'll have to keep our ears and eyes peeled to see if that call comes in again from the Reinhardt sideline, because it certainly worked.
Well, it's like when you watch football games, they have like the big flashcards with the signs or whatever. No one ever understands them, but you see Torch Larry, that's obviously a play they work on. I've heard Pizza Hut before. Nobody's yelled mashed potatoes yet like the people yell at Tiger Woods, so hey, you never know. But it's all Reinhardt right now, and like I said, they're looking to build a dynasty here in the NAIA with back-to-back National Invitational Tournament championships, looking for their third here today. And Aquinas is going to have to somehow stop this attack, and they're going to have to start taking advantage of their own. They haven't had quite the room that they've had in the first two games of this tournament. It's going to be important here how they look to try to thwart this Reinhardt defense.
So far, this game is actually eerily similar for Reinhardt as they got off to a 4-0 lead in their semifinal game yesterday against the University of the Cumberlands, who then came back after calling a timeout to stem the tide, much like Aquinas has just done. I think they need the Saints mascot at this point, Tyler, to get more involved, pumping up the crowd here.
Oh, yeah, there's the St. Bernard making its appearance here at the Aquinas Athletic Complex, trying to get people fired up here. Probably just made its way over from the PAC for the commencement, or coming from Aquinas' graduation, obviously. Like
he got rid of his cap and gown, I guess. Or he wouldn't be graduating, I suppose. He's coming back next year.
He's only been around for over 150 years or so
yeah.
I'm hoping he graduated by now.
He's taking an extra long victory lap.
That's a lot of student loans if you're going to school for that long time.
Werner flips that one up. Sam Needham was unable to gather it, but Werner scoops it up instead. He wins that ground ball and is shoved down by Jacobs. Werner flails it away. And now Aquinas sets up its offense. Werner wins over 71% of his faceoffs, so for Aquinas to try and hang on to possession here, it's good that they've got an All-American faceoff midfielder.
And Werner just came over to the sideline and is shaken up on the play after taking that tumble down to our right. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
And the athletic training staff either is not aware or now they have someone tending to him. Nash West shadowed it, and he throws that one in the carpet. Highshatter plays the bounce for Aquinas and brings it back outside the box. 9.5 minutes into the first, all Reinhardt so far, but a goal for Aquinas would do a lot to at least emotionally make the Saints feel they're back in this game, and certainly the outstanding crowd filling up the bleachers would feel the same way. West is trying to elude Parker Lindsay, and he throws it away.
Yeah, West has really been struggling with passes, and especially the one little flip pass even behind the goal with him and Klinsky flipping off there. Had a little bit of issue with that. He's having some ball control issues here in this one. But obviously now another missed opportunity for the Saints, and once again the Eagles will look to capitalize on the opportunity.
And for Aquinas, again, with Rogers and Klinsky so far held off the scoreboard, who else needs to step up right now if you're Aquinas? And I'm almost asking that rhetorically because the Saints will likely need more than just those two contributors if they want to come back and knock off Reinhardt.
Right, you're talking about guys like West too. Like, he is one of the other top guys on this team offensively. He's going to have to kind of re-corral himself there, as you kind of saw Klinsky and Banks kind of talking there, or excuse me, Rogers talking, trying to figure out what to do themselves to try to get the offense going.
That's Connor Mills with his shot behind the net and out of play.
Are they maybe a shot clock issue, or did it go off? I thought that one went clear wide. Bowrighter doesn't like it.
Yeah, the issue is, should the shot clock be reset to 80 seconds?
I thought that one went clear wide from my angle, but then again, I have seen more oddities before, and it should go back down. I'm probably sure they're trying to figure out what happened here. Official giving an explanation, which, from my experience, the refs never give the best explanations to coaches from all of my days of playing.
Especially to the coach whose call it does not benefit.
Yeah, whenever it goes to the other coach that gets the call, they're like, right. Oh, yes, we agree with you no matter what. Whatever you say there, Stripes.
This is Chad Huffman, the senior from Powder Springs, Georgia. He jogs it back to the point.
Air torch Larry once again. Let's watch out for number 2, Anderson.
Here's Mills. Around Dietrich, the All-American defender for Aquinas. He takes a spill, and it's scooped out of there by Aquinas, and a whistle.
And they're going to call loose ball push against the Saints, despite the good play by Dietrich to knock the ball loose. So possession stays with the Eagles, though, despite what looked like a good defensive stand by Aquinas.
It's a big turn of events, and it also resets the shot clock back to 80. Anderson, eyes into the box. Sam Needham with the long stick. Here goes Anderson. Strung out. Couple of love taps, and now a pass down onto the wing. Chavis' shot is booted away by Bo Richter. Dietrich fighting for it. He's knocked off the ball, and a foul blows that one dead. Aquinas ball.
There's that first save. Very important one there for Bo Richter. Just maybe get some confidence going his way on a good one, too. On a shot that had gone in a couple times already in this game. So now Aquinas maybe trying to ride off something from their goaltender here and try to bring it offensively now.
They'll try to turn defense into offense as Blake Baker brings it up. And here is Kyle Gauthier, the sophomore from Traverse City West. His pass eventually goes to Rogers, but Gauthier getting some more playing time in this championship after scoring a goal in the semifinal. It was only his 4th of the season. Klinsky hooks one just outside of the crease. Rogers was unable to gather, and Reinhardt takes it away.
And crease violation there against Rogers. That forced pass, though, as Klinsky tried to force it on through there, you want to look for that open opportunity, but obviously trying to get it to your leading scorer. That time did not work out for the Saints.
So right now, Reinhardt has kept Cam Rogers and Sam Klinsky in check for the Aquinas attack. As we approach the final minute of the first quarter. 4-0 Reinhardt. This is the 2019 NAIA Men's Lacrosse Invitational Championship. Lacrosse is an invitational sport at the NAIA level because it has anywhere between 25 and 40 teams participating in this sport. You get over 40, and it becomes a championship event. And there's a timeout as Reinhardt talks things over for the final minute or so of this first quarter.
I don't know. I'm sure if you're probably Reinhardt, they probably just taken it. Maybe they didn't get quite the same look that they liked in the last couple possessions, as they have not scored in the last 5 minutes or so. So probably you're just trying to maybe find a way to get back into the goal here. But, of course, like I said, it really all helped out with the save by Bo Richter. He needs the confidence to get back into this game here, allowing the first 4 shots to go by him. Having that confidence, especially if you're a freshman goaltender too, playing on such a big stage like this in your first year, you're going to want to get just something going, kind of just get back in the swing of things, get back into momentum, a pattern, if you will. And Reinhardt, obviously, just keep controlling the ball. That's what they're going to do for the rest of this game here. If Aquinas can't convert offensively, it could be a long afternoon here for the Saints.
Reinhardt is going for the three-peat. This is year 4 of a lacrosse invitational at the NAIA level, and Reinhardt is on the verge of a dynasty. They won, in fact, on this very field 1 year ago, as this is the second straight year that Aquinas College has hosted the 2018 and now 2019 Lacrosse Invitational, men's and women's, of course.
Of course, the Eagles also winning against a Michigan team last year when they beat the Crusaders of Madonna University here. So now trying to do the same here against the Saints. Obviously, the Saints, the host team here, and it's going to be interesting now to see how they react. Only 41 seconds on the shot clock, but when I say only 41 seconds for the Eagles, they think that's like a minute and a half in their eyes.
Yes. So they'll be running their tempo offense, we say somewhat jokingly, with 40 seconds on the shot clock.
For all you music fans out there, about 60 beats per minute.
This is Chad Huffman. Jake Lee escorts him onto the wing. Chavis swings it around to Jarrett. Bennett Jarrett with a goal in the first quarter already for Reinhardt. Here's Zane Anderson, who's got 2 to match the number on the back of his jersey. Centering pass, Huffman winds up, and Bo Richter might have deflected it, but it missed wide to his left.
Refs didn't think he got a piece of it. Shot clock only has 6 seconds on it.
Jarrett nearly got into the crease, and he spikes one, and there's a flag that came well after the shot.
Could have been Wagner jumping in there, trying to slow down Jarrett. They call the foul on him. The refs discuss at the side of the Aquinas goal. And it looks like that was Asari Kanadu trying to calm down Bo Richter. Kind of came up a little hard after Jarrett came into his crease. As a former goaltender myself, I didn't like it when people got into my crease either. And it looks like the call will go the way of the Saints as a crease violation called against Jarrett. Looks like the flag may have been picked up. Looks like the ref's giving an explanation now to Bo Richter now. Kind of maybe a warning by the official, which the freshman goaltender nods his head in agreement.
And so we just heard the call. It goes against Tyler Bennett Jarrett, number 22 for Reinhardt, who shot that ball. It was ruled a dive towards the goalie, even though it originated from outside of the crease, because it was directed at the goalkeeper, Clayton Bo Richter. That is a 1-minute penalty.
So big opportunity here for the Saints. Last 27 seconds of this quarter, trying to get one going into the break here, maybe gain a little momentum.
So Jarrett will be down for the first 30-plus seconds of the second quarter as well. Down to 17 left and counting here in the first. Nash West down to Rogers. Rogers and Klinsky try to make something happen for Aquinas. Rogers' shot deflected and saved by Webb. Klinsky gathers the rebound. There are 5 seconds left in the quarter, and it's taken away by Reinhardt. And they run literally the last 5 seconds of the first quarter clock off to protect a 4-0 lead after 1 quarter of play. A darn good start for Reinhardt.
Oh, absolutely. And, of course, Matt Webb with a huge stop there. As like you see, Leading scorer Cam Rogers trying to get a shot there at bad angle. That's gone in for him a lot of times here in this tournament, but that time the sophomore netminder making the big save.
We'll take a timeout. Be back for the second quarter after this on the NAIA Network.
To know, do, and value the right thing, both inside.
What I've learned the most from golf is to have integrity in everything you say and do.
One of the biggest lessons of that sports impacts my daily life is discipline.
Be a champion of character, it just means to realize first that you're a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Being a part of NAIA is something that I'm going to keep with me forever because it's not only made me a better athlete, but it's made me a better person.
The NAIA really just cares about their student athletes and just the experience in general at the school, and I think that's really important.
The NAIA stands for, has great core values. One that's most important to me is servant leadership. Being able to serve your community is a huge reason why I chose the NAIA.
I am a champion of character.
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 Welcome back to the start of the second quarter. Tyler Kuehl and Chris Foster is with you. Reinhardt shuts out Aquinas in the first quarter of the men's lacrosse NAIA Invitational Championship. But Aquinas has got about 35 seconds with a man advantage because of a Reinhardt penalty, and so maybe they can jumpstart their offense that way.
Yeah, they didn't have they didn't have a whole lot of time with that 30-second man up on their first opportunity here, trying to take advantage. Had a good shot there towards the end. Rogers, though, getting stopped by Webb, making 2 saves in that first quarter for the Eagles, and they'll start it back up here. Actually, it'll be possession going to Zane Anderson since the Eagles were able to get the turnover there at the end of that first quarter.
Anderson flies up. That was Cam Rogers who dropped his stick. So that's a great point, Tyler, that with Reinhardt beginning the second quarter with possession, they can effectively kill off the rest of this penalty.
That's why I don't know if you folks at home were able to hear down to our left after that first missed opportunity. They tried to say hold it if they had possession so they would be able to control it at the beginning of the second quarter. However, the Eagles, I think that was a good play by, I think it was Harrington, the senior midfielder, that had possession there at the end of that quarter.
Bennett Jarrett jogs back onto the field. Again, a goal in the first quarter for the senior and his 7th goal of the Invitational. That's Mills who sets the screen for Chavis, and that's a moving screen, so Aquinas wins possession that way.
Coaching staff doesn't like it, but it was pretty apparent Mills was definitely not set before that pick, so now Aquinas coming back the other way.
Needham on the move, and he flips it to Jake Lee. Rogers and Klinsky were excellent in the semifinal yesterday for Aquinas in particular. Rogers had a 9-point day with 3 goals and 6 assists. Klinsky, his partner in crime, had 8 points, including 5 goals. But they've been shut out so far today through the first quarter and about a minute and a half. Highshetter cuts back. A couple of shoves from Parker Lindsay. And from the X, here he comes, he shoots, and it takes a high bounce away.
Oh, that one skips all the way to the dormitories here, as there's a little bit of a crowd running after that one. But you can see the Saints, despite being down 4, still being patient, which is important in a game like this. You can get down by a few goals, and your urgency kind of picks up, which leads to more turnovers and more errors. So credit where credit is due. Aquinas still trying to play their game here early in the second quarter.
And that's a good point. you don't want to get away from your bread and butter if you're Aquinas, even though you're down 4 goals. There's a shot by Rogers, and it skips to the left of Webb. Klinsky, another try.
That was a good read on the pick and roll there by Hollis to find a way to cut off Klinsky, who wanted to drive the front of that net.
That's Nash West who sets the screen. Rogers, long-range shot, and finally a score for Aquinas.
Jalen McCray, the defensive midfielder, trying to get in there and stop Rogers, and Rogers got a little bit more room and able to get a little bit oomph on that shot as the Windsor native gets the Saints back on the board for the first time here today. And that may be the goal that the Saints need here, first, second quarter. Just a good, hard rocket shot. And especially guys at this level, big scores like this level, you give them time like that and give them room, they're going to be able to get a lot behind it and fire a rocket like Rogers did on that one.
Goal number 53 this season for Cam Rogers, the Canadian-born senior. And he now has 107 points on the season. He had set the Aquinas program record for points in a season coming into this invitational, so he continues to pad that stat. And after the faceoff violation, it's Reinhardt ball. So maybe they're a missed opportunity, Tyler, for Aquinas. Having scored their first goal of the game, it would have been great to win possession back, and now Reinhardt can sort of cool Aquinas down.
Yeah, it looked like what happened. I think the call was the fact that Warner still had it on the back of his stick carrying it like that, which led to the face-off violation. But yes, face-off wins are huge in a game like this, and because you can create a lot of momentum if you keep getting possession, almost like make it give it or make it take it, and by like ways of like playing basketball or something like that. But now the Eagles back with possession here and looking to find an opportunity here.
Jarrett flips it up to Chad Huffman. He nods his head for Anderson to go in motion. Huffman takes a shot from way outside of the arc. Not much of a threat on Bo Richter's cage, but possession stays with Reinhardt. He's trying to duplicate Cam Rogers' feet on the opposite end for Aquinas. 4 minutes into the second quarter. Reinhardt looking for an answer to Aquinas' first goal of the day. This is Anderson on a drive. Wow, he leaped into the air just outside of the crease. There was a hard collision, and Aquinas is going to get the ball back.
I think Bo Richter actually made the save on that one too, when it counted on the crease violation, but nonetheless, it may not come up in the score sheet, but Bo Richter making the save on Anderson. Had to kind of jump up and just get the body on that short side post to make the save. But now Aquinas having the opportunity to try to close the gap here with the opportunity, but got to get it across midfield first.
Blake Baker is able to do that for Aquinas. Good stick by Baker to avoid the hack from Gavin Banks. We talked about Reinhardt's 4-0 lead in the semifinal over the University of the Cumberlands and how that went away. Cumberlands was able to come back. So Aquinas is now trying to duplicate the University of the Cumberlands' feat against Reinhardt from the semifinal. Another shot by Rogers and a gorgeous save by Webb.
Yeah, Rogers wanted to duplicate his first goal on a long-range shot like that, but didn't quite get enough on that one, especially those long-range shots. A goaltender like Webb, especially, if he can see it from that far out, he's going to make the save.
Webb has looked really good today, don't you think?
He's a good all-tournament, if you ask me. I mean, he's just sometimes, some games he's had a little bit less work compared to the games he's had earlier in the regular season, but it seems like when you get in a groove like that, if you're a goaltender, it seems like everything just hits you as the flag goes high up in the air. Is it, I didn't quite see anything. Was there a penalty for, I don't think it was offside. Or? Possibly. I'm trying to count the numbers right now. It is 6 on 7. Aquinas has 7 in the defensive end.
There's a shot by Banks. Bo Richter lost it, and he scoops it up after a couple of bounces right in front of him. And here comes the penalty.
Yep, it was offsides against Blake Baker. And sometimes, yeah, there's got to be communication from the bench on that one. It didn't seem like anyone from Aquinas was yelling for it. Sometimes, though, if you have too many men, you try to not say anything and hope the refs don't notice. But we're at the dark maroon jerseys that Aquinas has. It's pretty obviously notice that they had more than Reinhardt did on the defensive end. So now another opportunity for the Eagles with a man up.
Jarrett winds up and golfs it home.
Eagles goal by number 2.
Just a rocket of a shot there by Jarrett, almost from the same spot he scored on in the first quarter. Just a crank shot at a bad angle. You can see Bo Richter try to lean into the post on that one, on that short side shot, but Jarrett able to snipe that one home. It's just a good, hard, quick shot, too, and you get a little bit of room, and that's where you use the man advantage to your opportunity. You have a little bit of room on the outside. Aquinas trying to block the middle, not allow that great shot through. As you could see, Asari Kanadu couldn't get there in time, and another chance for Bo Richter to make the stop, but I'll be honest, with a hard shot like that from Jarrett, not much you can really do that if you're the Aquinas goaltender.
Bennett Jarrett, just another All-American on this stocked Reinhardt roster. His second goal of the championship and his 8th of the Invitational. Bennett Jarrett with 56 goals and 89 points on the season. Warner wins the faceoff for Aquinas, plays it back into his defensive zone. This is Clayton Bo Richter with a pass up to Matt Wagner. Long feed up ahead. And Aquinas finally gets it into the attacking area.
For Aquinas, you see how the pick and rolls are now working at the side of the goal. As you can see, the Eagles just jump right on the ball carrier despite the opportunity to try to find a way open. If you're the Saints, you're going to have to get those long shots, but you're going to have to give room for guys like Rogers and West on the outside to get those good hard shots up to beat Webb.
Cam Rogers with space, tried to bounce one past Webb.
That was a good drive there by Rogers on the outside. Just didn't flip to his right hand. You don't see that with a whole lot of Canadians. A lot of guys, when you're growing up, go left hand, right hand. Canadians, they like to stick with one hand. So that's why you see a Canadian backhand, as they call it, when you kind of throw it across your body. But that time, Rogers, who tried to maybe go across, couldn't get the clean shot away.
Highshetter, who has a couple of goals in the tournament, ends up recycling it out to the edge of the box. Nash West, Sam Klinsky. Long pass to Walker West, who tried the one-timer, and he missed it high.
That's a good look there by Rogers. Cross field. Not many opportunities to get those passes across as the shot clock expired. Or they'll say one on the shot clock, but pretty much possession will go here to the Eagles. But just a good look, too, because you don't expect those cross-field passes, because usually you think it's going to hit a stick, a player, body, or something. But Rogers able to thread that one through. Just unfortunately, West was not able to fire that one past.
That tandem worked yesterday for Aquinas in its semifinal win over the 2-seed Indiana Tech. Aquinas is just the 6th seed, so they had to knock off the 3-seed Lawrence Tech in the quarterfinal and the 2-seed Indiana Tech to get to the championship match. And they go for the trifecta, trying to knock off the top 3 teams in the tournament field en route to the program's first lacrosse title. But Reinhardt is a handful. They lead 5-1 as we work our way into the later stages of the second quarter.
Yeah, let's move it back around here to Anderson. And had this been the old lacrosse rules, you may have seen a stall warning up against the Eagles, but the shot clock will force them to shoot, but they certainly won't force it. They don't need to, will Reinhardt.
Bennett Jarrett going for a hat trick around Wagner, and he spikes that one past the net. And it's out of play into the corner. Tyler Chavis brings it back out. After a pump, there's a shot wide to the left out of the cross of Connor Mills, who has a goal already today as well.
You can see why he's got 3 goals in this tournament, does Mills. It's that quick release and that quick shot.
There's a bomb from Huffman, and it skips out of play.
3 seconds on the shot clock. If the Eagles want a chance to be quick, and it looks like they'll just milk it and hold it in the corner. So A shot clock violation will give the ball back here to the Saints.
Wagner with a heave. That was nearly intercepted and instead is played on a bounce by Jake Lee. Aquinas may have had numbers for a moment there, but now they'll relax the pace.
Looked like they were just trying to get their offensive unit out there. It could have been an opportunity, but there were already 6 Eagles already down there as they changed knowing the shot clock violation would have been called against them.
Walker West out of Brighton High School. Brings it towards the middle, jarred loose. Blake Baker's got it and he shovels it off to Klinsky. Klinsky's got it back. Pass in front, and the connection was not made. Tyson Marsh had an open net, but he could not field that pass.
It looked like he tried to shoot it before he even received it. It was a great opportunity. Good look by Klinsky. However, here come the Eagles as Matt Webb looks to rush it out.
And he's able momentarily to clear it anyway, and there was too much juice on that pass. It bounced right out of the net of Connor Mills.
Frustration clearly setting in here on the Saints right now. They just can't get their offense motoring along like they've had all season here right now. Blake, credit is due. Reinhardt has not made it easy for the top guns for Aquinas to allow them to create the opportunities they've had this year. And unfortunately, the supporting cast for the Saints have not been able to pick up the slack due to that.
You might call this a defensive struggle so far through the first half of this championship match, but if you look at Reinhardt's last 2 championship wins, 8-7 over Madonna in overtime last year and 10-5 over Kaiser in 2017 for Reinhardt's first crown. There's a timeout on the field, and we'll step aside. It is Reinhardt 5, Aquinas 1. It is a championship Saturday between the Eagles of Reinhardt and the Saints of Aquinas. Reinhardt with the game's last goal to go up 5-1. Back from AQ Athletic Field, it is the championship of the NAIA Men's Lacrosse Invitational. Aquinas is the host school and in the championship for the first time in program history, but they trail Reinhardt 5-1. Reinhardt is the 2-time defending national champions, and Reinhardt's defense, give them a lot of credit for holding a very good Aquinas offense to just 1 goal so far, nearly through an entire half.
Yeah, Aquinas is looking for those opportunities right in front of the Eagles' goal, those high dangerous scoring areas, but they've collapsed down in the middle, and the only goal that they've been able to score on was a long-range shot by Rogers that gave them the opportunity, and then after that, you saw the Eagles adjust on the fly, pressuring the outside while still keeping the middle area in front of their own goal, closed up tight. And now they're going to look to try to get back on the offensive here.
Easier said than done with Reinhardt holding the ball. Here's Anderson looking for his 3rd goal of the day. There's a shot, and off the forearm of Bo Richter, it rainbows out of play.
And that one's probably heading over towards Blodgett Hospital off Wealthy Street all the way over there with that deflection.
Of course, with the extra supply of balls around the perimeter, it's a quick return to play, and that one whistles over the right shoulder of Bo Richter, down by the scoreboard. What's in that direction?
That would be, I think, that'd be Easttown. Yes, Reed's Lake too, yeah.
Testing our Grand Rapids geography here at Aquinas College on the east side of downtown. Gorgeous campus, sort of tucked into a wooded area. It's been an outstanding place to host the Lacrosse Invitational the last 2 years. Dan Dietrich gallops it across the center line.
They'll keep Dietrich out there, usually in a defensive role. However, he's going to play, looks like right in front of the goal, as Aquinas trying to adjust on the fly here, trying to find something to spark the offense.
Walker West follows the screen set by Kevin Highshetter on the pick and roll. Highshetter nearly was triple teamed, and that's a high fastball from Walker West, not particularly close to Matt Webb in between the pipes.
Oh, that one smacked a car pretty good in the parking lot. That's going to be a dent. That one sailed right past the protective netting behind the goal.
Walker West, Nash West, beg your pardon. Walker and Nash, both brothers, a year apart, from Brighton, Michigan. Walker is number 4, Nash is number 14. Rogers takes a shove from Samuels. That was in front, and a pass and a shot and a score by Walker West. That was beautiful.
What a great play by West to fight off the check. I believe that was Jack Hollis on his back diving across. And the importance there, too, by West was to stay out of the crease as well. Not just able to make the play and actually deflect it past Webb on the great pass by Rogers, but able to stay out of the crease here. As you'll see here on the replay, just a good look as Rogers had a couple nice passes here in this game thus far. Including this one, just kind of a flip over the shoulder. And West diving across the front, able to tip it in, as that's actually number 20, Connor Bean, the long stick midfielder, who was not able to control him.
Well, Walker West with his 3rd goal of the Invitational, and now his 27th on the season. He's the junior, the older of the 2 Wests. And what a pass by Cam Rogers, fighting off some really aggressive defense by a big body in 6'4", 205-pound Jacob Samuels. We have a penalty coming up as Banks centers himself and scores.
That's why he's the leading scorer in the NAIA with a shot like that, his 12th of the tournament. The sophomore just rockets it on through. Werner was going to get the penalty for a slash. But more importantly, the Eagles able to get their 6th of the game, and just after taking a tumble, there's the slash that was going to get called by Werner, knocking down McCray on the play. But here's Banks picking up, gets a little bit of a bump, and just too much room for Banks, finding it past the post. And now, with the penalty to Werner, will give automatic possession here to the Eagles.
Too much room, but still not a ton by any means. Banks is able to get shots away with just about anybody on him.
Right, he can do it on both, but even just that little bit of foot room, and you kind of saw after Werner made the contact, kind of pushed him off the side. That almost allowed Banks a little to get off the body and get a little bit more room to get that hard shot away. And now the Eagles go back up by 4.
And a face-off won by Reinhardt. 6-2 now with 2 minutes left until halftime. That was batted up and knocked down and eventually taken away by Walker West. A fantastic play deep in the attacking zone for Aquinas. And now the Saints call a timeout, as the clock will stop with 1:53 remaining. So Aquinas is trying to jumpstart its offense. They have 4 goals to make up after Gavin Banks scores his 81st goal of the season. Reinhardt by 4 late in the second quarter.
Destination during postseason play and throughout the year. Shorts travel.
When a lot of people think of the NAIA, they think, oh, the talent level is less. The talent level is not as great. That is just not true. You know, there's some great athletes out here that maybe didn't have the size or the athletic ability to play at D1 or D2, but the talent level out here is tremendous. If I could give anybody advice or pitch that to anybody, I'd say give the NAIA a chance. It's a great place to play.
There is Walker West, who just forced a turnover for Aquinas. The Saints and Coach Doug Sates called a timeout, and so Aquinas now with possession as the clock resumes down to 1:50 remaining until halftime. That was a hard hit right on the noggin of West. That's going to draw a penalty. West was eventually separated from his lacrosse stick.
That's probably going to be, yeah, it's probably going to be a 1 minute. Yep, it'll be a 1 minute. So even strength, if you will, and will be a brief man-up opportunity coming up here for the Saints after Werner's released. But I'm sure you guys could hear that one at home because that was a pretty apparent one right across. And sometimes with the longer stick, you kind of get a little carried away. You try to go over the top, but sometimes you unfortunately catch them in the head, and that's why they wear helmets in men's lacrosse.
No kidding. Klinsky with a pump, and he finds Cam Rogers. So 5-on-5 right now for the moment.
So the Saints have an opportunity here to try to attack. They will get, if they can get a goal, they will still have an opportunity for the man up here.
High Shedder swings it around. Now Joey Fitzgerald enters the attacking zone for Aquinas, and so Aquinas officially has the extra man. There's a pass in front, and what a save by Webb to deny Walker West of his second goal.
I think that one actually rang off the post there, Chris. It was a wide open net. Crease violation called here against the Saints, but Walker West with a wide open cage, ringing it off the iron. Saints coming close to getting back on the board.
So Reinhardt, again, able to parry the Aquinas Saints move, even though Aquinas had an extra man. And they still do, for that matter, but Reinhardt has possession.
And it looks like that penalty had expired, so back to even strength we go, and you could really almost expect, I think we're back to 6-on-6 now, but yes, now Eagles will just I'm sure they'll try to maybe run out until the last second here of this second quarter, maybe for that last second shot as well.
This is Zane Anderson. Hooks a pass in front, and it gets out of the attacking zone, rolls across the center line. There are 5 seconds left, and after the over and back, the clock is stopped with 4 seconds left. But they say it was tipped, in which case perhaps the clock stopped prematurely.
I'm not quite sure, but it must have minutely nicked because it looked like a pretty clear out.
It did to me as well. If anything, it might have tipped a Reinhardt player.
We have replay in all sports. We have replay in hockey, basketball, horse racing. Why not in lacrosse, right? But as they'll force Huffman to take a step back. Couldn't quite hear the explanation there by the official, but it looks like they're going to have to try to Klinsky and Rogers try to cut off Huffman since he has to start on the defensive side of midfield. Only 4 seconds, though.
And 2 of the officials are still talking about this.
Maybe just reassuring each other, but expect a quick pass here as we have a little bit of a drizzle coming over the field here now. Reminiscence of the quarterfinal day we had here for the men's lacrosse tournament.
Yes, back on Wednesday. That's a heave in from Huffman. It's rolled on the ground and booted back out. That was a pretty darn good look by Reinhardt, all things considered. An awfully fun set play to watch. But it officially gets us to halftime with Reinhardt on top of Aquinas 6-2. So after that 4-goal jump for Reinhardt, Aquinas played Reinhardt pretty even. Now the only question is, can Aquinas overcome Reinhardt in the second half?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be important to have a good start in that third quarter, not let Eagles widen the gap any more than they have. The first goal in this third quarter in the second half will be the most important goal probably of this game.
Reinhardt leads by 4. They are halfway to their 3rd straight national championship. Bennett Jarrett, beg your pardon, with a couple of big goals for Reinhardt in the first half. Zane Anderson, the NAIA Player of the Year, victimized Clayton Bo Richter in the Aquinas defense early. But Aquinas got things going eventually with a couple of goals in the second quarter. They need a lot more. Cam Rogers when we return for the third.
What I've learned the most from golf is to have integrity in everything you say and do.
One of the biggest lessons of that sports impacts my daily life is discipline.
Be a champion of character. It just means to realize first that you're a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Being a part of NAIA is something that I'm going to keep with me forever because it's not only made me a better athlete, but it's made me a better person.
The NAIA really just cares about their student athletes and just the experience in general at the school, and I think that's really important.
The NAIA stands for, has great core values. One that's most important to me is servant leadership. Being able to serve your community is a huge reason why I chose the NAIA.
I am a champion of character.
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 When a lot of people think of the NAIA, they think, oh, the talent level is less. The talent level is not as great. That is just not true. You know, there's some great athletes out here that maybe didn't have the size or the athletic ability to play at D1 or D2, but the talent level out here is tremendous. If I could give anybody advice or pitch that to anybody, I'd say give the NAIA a chance. It's a great place to play.
What I've learned the most from golf is to have integrity in everything you say and do.
One of the biggest lessons of that sports impacts my daily life is discipline.
Be a champion of character. It just means to realize first that you're a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Being a part of NAIA is something that I'm going to keep with me forever because it's not only made me a better athlete, but it's made me a better person.
The NAIA really just cares about their student athletes and just the experience in general at the school, and I think that's really important.
The NAIA stands for, has great core values. One that's most important to me is servant leadership. Being able to serve your community is a huge reason why I chose the NAIA.
I am a champion of character.
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 when a lot of people think of the NAIA, they think, oh, the talent level is less. The talent level is not as great. That is just not true. You know, there's some great athletes out here that maybe didn't have the size or the athletic ability to play at D1 or D2, but the talent level out here is tremendous. If I could give anybody advice or pitch that to anybody, I'd say give the NAIA a chance. It's a great place to play.
Well, we began this broadcast with some of the top plays of the men's invitational so far. Here are the top plays of the first half of the championship between Reinhardt and Aquinas. Reinhardt got off to a 4-0 start thanks to some outstanding play by Zane Anderson, the NAIA Player of the Year. It looked like Aquinas was in trouble. And when Reinhardt is moving the ball like this, they are awfully hard to stop. That was Bennett Jarrett with one of his 2 goals in the first half. But Tyler Reinhardt ultimately gave way to Aquinas after, despite some brilliant goaltending work by Matt Webb, Aquinas' offense maybe started to put some pieces together late in the second quarter.
Yeah, and it really all started with Cam Rogers, that one goal he had where he just kind of ripped one from far enough out. Tried to take a similar shot earlier or later on in that second quarter, but it really just, if the confidence really needs to get back in the Aquinas offense. And I think that's what they're going to try to use this halftime here. It's like, here's what we have to do, guys, to get back in the swing of things, no pun intended, but they're going to really have to get it here, as here was the setup for one of Rogers' goals. A lot of room like that, and if he can get that shot off a little more often here in this second half, Aquinas will be able to put some more goals together here and try to get back in this one. Down by 4, though, it's going to be tough here because not just you have to score some more goals, but you're going to have to not allow the Eagles to do so either.
I think there was some pun intended there.
Well, you know, I try to keep it down to a minimum here. I don't want to scare all the NAIA folks I've never heard before. I have some pretty awful dad jokes. And unfortunately, they will stop the stream and watch something else because they're like, well, what is this comedy hour this guy's doing? But
whether you've been with us since the beginning or are just tuning in, it's good to be with you. 6-2 Reinhardt over Aquinas as we start the third quarter. Tyler Kuehl and Chris Foster's with you alongside Alex Bousquet, our producer. Kyle, Duarte, Keaton doing an outstanding job on our crew today as well. It was drizzling a little bit at the end of the second quarter, and I think has it stopped?
I think so, at least for a second, but it is Michigan. Give it about 5 seconds, and it'll start snowing. And let's say it snowed in late April. It'll snow in May. But the weather can be interesting at times.
Temperatures in the low 50s, upper 40s today. Unseasonably cool, even by Michigan standards for mid-May, which is basically where we're at now.
Yeah, so we had windy and rainy on Wednesday and cold on Wednesday, warm and humid on Thursday. A little bit cooler yesterday, but sunshine. And today, back to almost Wednesday, just knock on wood, the wind has subsided for now.
It's Reinhardt ball. They possess here to start the third quarter. Chad Huffman approaches Jake Lee. Down to Chavis, who passes it behind to Jarrett. Mills with a shot. Elbowed away by Bo Richter. Rebound loose and swept back in by Gavin Banks.
Oh, boy. We got Bo Richter now getting in the face of a few Eagles players. Looks like that was Huffman and Mills as well. Bo Richter he's going to try to get calmed down by some of his teammates there. He can't get too excited or else they may be taking a penalty with it, but makes the first save to Bo Richter, a good one too. However, the rebound finding it is Gavin Banks, and like we said, he may not need a whole lot of room to get a good shot away, but he does here, just slipping one underneath his Bo Richter, try to come out, and it looked like after that, that's when Mills had approached Richter after giving a little bit of a shot to Banks, trying to stop that shot, but nonetheless, the Eagles extend their lead to 5 with the second of the game by Gavin Banks, his 13th of the tournament.
And look out, if Gavin Banks gets going for Reinhardt, it could be a long afternoon for Aquinas. Sam Werner was drilled coming out of the faceoff. That's a push.
So that'll give possession to the Saints, and sometimes you may not have to exactly win the faceoff cleanly as long as you can just get possession, and Werner's able to draw the penalty, so Aquinas' offense will go to work here for the first time here in the third quarter.
Rogers was held to 1 goal in the first half. He's got it now. He scored over 100 points this season alone. Walker West around the screen to Sam Klinsky now. Klinsky has put up some massive offensive numbers this year as well. 51 goals scored for the senior Klinsky out of Crystal Lake, Illinois, as Rogers is dispossessed. And that ground ball is kicked around, swept towards the center line, and that was Banks who had it for a moment before the whistle.
However, offside's called here against the Eagles. I don't think Banks had jumped over the line. Or maybe it was another Reinhardt player that came across, but nonetheless, Saints look to try to take advantage here of a call that goes their way here.
I think Jacob Samuels, even after that offsides, deserves a lot of credit for the defense he's played on Cam Rogers so far. Samuels, a big body, has at times challenged Rogers with some really in-your-face defense.
But yeah, he's that big body, and that senior presence allows him, and that's why he's been tagged as the top defender for this team. Gets in the way, and he's able to create defensive stops for the Eagles, and that's why he's put against the best player in the NAIA, one of the best.
That shot by Nash West was saved by Matt Webb, who had an awfully good first half, picking up 5 saves. Chad Huffman is on the move for Reinhardt. Anderson plays it down to Banks.
And now you'll see the momentum of the game almost come to a screeching halt, at least the pace of it, because now the Eagles, especially here in the second half, we've seen all tournament, they will just slow everything down, not need to force anything, use all 80 seconds. We're in a shot clock that sees 30 seconds left on it now. And now Anderson's going to try to get that little bit of running start as we've seen him do before.
And he passes it back to the point. There's a shot and a save by Bo Richter. Connor Mills whistled one on goal.
Sound like that one caught his left foot, and kind of see Bo Richter kind of kick his foot. May not have been on the nice part, because these lacrosse balls are definitely not the softest. Rubber-coated concrete, literally.
Especially when they're flying at you projectile style. Down to the goal line, and behind it drifts Barrett Jensen. There's a shot and another skip past Bo Richter, and it'll be brought back in by Bennett Jarrett.
That was Gavin Banks coming back on through there with that little jump shot, and had a lot on that one too. And thankfully for the Saints and Bo Richter, that one sailed just to the left of the post.
Hoffman with a pass to Chavis just inside the arc. That one bounces over the crossbar, and Jarrett brings it back once again.
As the rain comes back, Johnny on the spot, you could say.
Reinhardt by 5 with under 30 on the shot clock. Huffman could not find a crosser. He's still got it now. A whiff, and it's taken away by Aquinas. Here's the pass up to center, and the Saints are on the move. There's the dish to Walker West. He feeds Dietrich back to Walker West. There's a sidearm shot and a save by Webb. Rebound carries all the way across the center line. And here is Gavin Banks.
Well, Webb got a piece of that one. It looked like with a shoulder, but it rang off the post once again as Webb is making the stops, but so are his goalposts here. If I was a goaltender like that, I'd be thanking my goalposts after a couple of those close ones.
And do they kiss the goalpost sometimes in lacrosse like they do in hockey?
Sometimes they'll sit, but the way the lacrosse, Patrick Wall used to do it all the time. Of course, unfortunately for the masks get in the way of that, but we give our post some love. Let me tell you.
Mills throws it to the X behind the net. Bennett Jarrett brings it back out. Huffman takes a shot. He is not much of a scorer, relatively speaking, because of how much offensive firepower there is around him, but he missed that time.
He does have 31 assists on the team, which is third. But, of course, when you have guys like Banks and Jarrett out there, all you have to do is give them the ball, and they'll make you look good for sure.
Yeah. Anderson shakes off a shove, gets it back to Connor Mills. Chavis sets the screen for Mills, who's elbowed to a standstill and dropped the ball. Jarrett somehow got that carom. There's a shot and a score by Chad Huffman, the All-American, with just his 12th goal of the season, but he was feeling it in that latest offensive possession for Reinhardt, and the Eagles lead by 6.
That's with Jarrett getting the assist on that goal, but Huffman, like you said, getting a little offensive firepower going with his shot, and you can, if we catch the replay, that goal will be at the 6:33 mark. You'll kind of see at the last second, Dietrich kind of get in the way, and Bo Richter couldn't get the clean look at that one as it bounced through his legs, as the one gets in the way of number one, and it beats 0. Trying to make a number joke there, but I couldn't come up with that one. But nonetheless, Huffman with the goal and a 6-goal lead now for the Eagles.
That was very binary of you.
Oh, thank you.
Warner tries to win a faceoff for Aquinas. He was 17 for 23 in the faceoff circle yesterday in the semifinal, but Reinhardt appears to be his match. It will be Aquinas ball, however, after that one leaks out of bounds. Walker West with a quick dish down to the goal line, and here is Klinsky with it now. Just about 7 minutes into the third. Aquinas has not scored so far since halftime. That's tossed softly across the attacking zone to Cam Rogers.
Rogers trying to direct traffic now, trying to find his way to the middle.
He takes a shot. It was blocked by a defender for Reinhardt, and it's McCray who sprints free.
That was either Pinson or Samuels that got in the way of that one. Rogers trying to fit the ball between a rock and a hard place.
There's a shot and a score. Bennett Jarrett looked like he was going to give it away, but he fooled everybody, and it is now 9-2 Reinhardt in control here in the third, and Doug Sates needs a timeout.
Just a good start here in the second half for Reinhardt, just continuing their momentum here from the first half. And now the Saints will try to slow it down here with this timeout. But an incredible start here as Jarrett's able to get that one through. Like you said, not much Bo Richter could have done on that one. Eagles leading here big here in the National Invitational Championship.
It's interesting going through the 3 games for Reinhardt at this invitational tournament. But there's kind of been a different guy who has taken center stage each time. Yesterday in the semifinal, for instance, Gavin Banks has a huge game. Today, it really feels like Bennett Jarrett has come up with some big plays for Reinhardt.
Right, he's done that. He's done that all tournament too. But like you said, when you're playing with Banks, you kind of get overlooked at times, and which is why Jarrett's kind of been able to kind of sit off to the side, but able to produce throughout this entire time in this tournament. But when you see what the plays he's able to make and able to find the room on the outside and find the room diving away in towards the inside into those high-scoring areas, he's showing that just because you have the players like Banks, like Anderson, that have led this offense throughout the season, that he can be a guy that can produce a lot too. And like I said, the depth scoring for this Eagles team has been their forefront. It's been their bread and butter. They've had 6 guys that have over 30 points, whereas Aquinas, like we said, we talked about Rogers and Klinsky, along with West, there's only 3 guys on that team that have over 30 points. So that said, is showing that Reinhardt has more depth, which has gotten to them to this point, and which is why they've been so successful for the last couple of years before this.
Does it look to you like Reinhardt is doing something to neutralize Rogers and Klinsky specifically, or is it just all around good defense to blanket everything Aquinas is trying to do offensively?
Well, when you put Samuels against Rogers specifically, obviously you're putting their best defenseman against him. But then you have Hollis, who's played incredibly well, watching Klinsky like a hawk, and Klinsky not able, you obviously can't score from behind the goal unless you dive out in front, but Klinsky's not exactly getting those high-scoring areas like he was, including yesterday too. But that's just because Reinhardt's been able to keep him to the outside but not allow anything inside, whereas Aquinas has allowed a lot from the outside because they're so worried about the Eagles jumping in right in front of their own goal, like the goal that Jarrett scored there on that transition opportunity. But they have not been able to thwart off these long-range shots. And it's been a complete game here for the Eagles, but it's been a complete game that they've done in the last 2 games here coming up to this point.
Hunter Scott on the X for Reinhardt. Sam Werner jostles for the faceoff for Aquinas, and Scott wins that battle. Reinhardt on the move again, and the bench for the Eagles loves that win by Hunter Scott, the sophomore from Savannah, Georgia, who won just 1/3 of his faceoffs in the semifinals against Cumberland's yesterday, but picks up a big one there, and you get the sense that this game has reached somewhat of a tipping point, especially for Aquinas. They need a stop and, frankly, a couple of scores for this game not to turn into a runaway.
Yeah, it's a tough one here for the Saints. You have the home field, like we said, and you have like a lot of emotion coming into this game, a lot of adrenaline, but the Eagles, who have been here before, they know how to win big games like this, and they've shown why here in the first 2.5 quarters.
Jarrett with a pass in front, and that was nearly bounced in by Gavin Banks. Chavis dropped it, and it's Reinhardt calling for a timeout, but it was not recognized, and so Aquinas comes away with a big takeaway. Matt Wagner with a bad pass, but Dietrich is able to scoop it up and spin away from danger.
It was Wagner who was able to get the turnover, knocking the ball to the stick of Chavis.
That's a hard hit out of bounds. No flag.
Ref was right there and saw it all the way too. Here's an opportunity, though, here for Aquinas, trying to find their way to get things going offensively. They have not had an opportunity. Flag up.
It's got to be another offsides, Tyler.
And I think, I don't know if it was 2 or, but as running over was number 27, Needham. So it looks like it's going to be against the Eagles, though. So an opportunity to still have possession here is Aquinas, and now they're going to try to go up here.
Rogers with a shot and a score. Virtually no angle on that shot by Rogers, but it did not matter.
Saints goal by number 91, Cameron.
That's just a good shot, too. Goal scorers like that will be able to put goals in from anywhere and everywhere and firing it. Despite Webb, I thought he was on a good side, holding that post, trying not allowing that short side shot, but somehow Rogers able to fire around to the outside for the first goal of the half here for the Saints. And just not a whole, like I said, not a lot of room at all. Like I said, Samuels right on top of him. Rogers trying to dip the shoulder, trying to use his stature, trying to get underneath, and just that little shot. Just a good one, too, right inside the post. Second of the game for the Rogers. 3rd point for Rogers as well.
So 2 goals and assists for Rogers today, as Tyler mentioned, and Rogers is the NAIA leader in both assists and assists per game. But he takes that one himself to make it 9-3. Still a lot of work to do for Aquinas, but it can always start with a win in the faceoff circle. What did you see?
Right, and they will have the man up because Connor Mills was given the penalty for that hit that happened when he knocked down Diedrich. So a 1-minute man-up opportunity, and I thought possession should go straight to the Saints. And I guess there's an explanation going on in the sideline to the Aquinas bench. It was a relatively late flag, too, because the flag happened all the way in the corner. And
that's why we thought it might have been offsides.
Yeah, because there were players running back towards the midfield, but nonetheless, Aquinas is going to have to take advantage of this opportunity here as the Eagles bench not too happy for it either. But they're probably asking, why was the flag so late? So possession, like I said, should automatically go to the Saints, I would think, given the fact that they're going to have the man-up opportunity. There's all sorts of confusion here. And
John Snow, Reinhardt's head coach, is getting an explanation from one of the officials at the moment. And now we get ready for the face-off.
After all that commotion, but a big opportunity for Aquinas to try to get some momentum going back in this game. They have not had any real sustainable momentum, but now with the man up, a great opportunity to do so.
Here comes Sam Warner right down the spine and a dish off to Walker West. Now Aquinas sets up its offense with an extra man. Goals have been few and far between so far for Aquinas, but they scored recently thanks to Cam Rogers, and maybe they can string a few together. West loops it around to his brother Nash West. Rogers flips to Klinsky. Aquinas with some crisp passing, working the perimeter. Kevin Highshetter throws it to Klinsky, who winds up, and it's blocked by Webb.
Possession stays with Aquinas there, and Klinsky trying to find that area that he's not really been able to get to today, a dangerous scoring area, but that time was thwarted off.
Cam Rogers, that one rung the post, Tyler.
Oh, man, that's a good shot, too. Just maybe a quarter of an inch lower. That one goes bar down. They'll say possession stays with the Saints.
Tyler Chavis can't believe it for Reinhardt.
They're they saying it bounced off. Chavis, I think since it was a shot, and I guess they had one of the Saints maybe standing on the sideline, which would kept possession with Aquinas.
Well, the sides return to even now after the Connor Mills unnecessary roughness penalty. Rogers way down in the corner right now. Here he comes. Pass to Nash West. There's a shot, and it missed.
I don't think Webb saw that one until the last second. A little bit of delayed reaction, too. That's a smart shot with the screen in front.
So Aquinas' offense looks better, but they need points relatively quick. Highshetter, difficult to tell if that was a shot or a pass.
Yeah, Highshetter went for the shot, but a good stick there by McCray to get in there and knock that one out. However, it still registers as a shot, so possession staying with Aquinas here. 35 seconds on the shot clock.
Klinsky is tracked by Zach Pinson behind the net, looking for an outlet. Here comes a flag. That was nearly a Canadian backhander, Tyler, as you mentioned earlier in the first half, but it was blocked off the cross of Blake Baker.
Yeah, Baker with a good drive to the side and trying to get a quick shot, missed it, but now Samuels will be going off for the penalty. They'll say a hold on Samuels, and now one of the top defenders for this Eagles defense takes a knee on the sideline. So an opportunity here for Aquinas, another man-up opportunity. They are 0 for 4, but better late than never here to get the offense going with the man advantage.
Well, Samuels a lot of times was matched up one-on-one with Cam Rogers. Now Reinhardt stationed Zach Pinson on the right wing defensively against Rogers. Here's Cam with it now. 3 minutes to go in the third. There's a shot by Highshetter. It was bodied by Webb, and Jalen McCray, Patrick Lindsay, was there to scoop it up for Reinhardt. Samuels back in the game after the 30-second technical penalty. And now Reinhardt finally gets it into its attacking zone with Bennett Jarrett.
High Shedder with a good look right there, but another longer range shot that Webb is not going to allow too many of. Just getting the bite on to make the save.
And so you get the sense that Reinhardt was able to weather that storm by Aquinas. That was what felt like the first time all game Aquinas has really had multiple offensive possessions and multiple good looks. And Reinhardt got out of it only giving up one goal.
And so now I think that the bench was really ecstatic after the penalty had expired. So now they go back on the offensive work here, and that could just be the little extra juice that Reinhardt needs to maybe close that one out. Obviously still another quarter to go here, but the way this game has gone for Reinhardt, it's been tough for Aquinas to get any substantial momentum going.
There's a pass in front to Banks and a fantastic save by Bo Richter. Asare Kanadu tries to shove Reinhardt Zane Anderson away from the ball. There's a foul, and here comes Aquinas with the ball as play resumes.
That's a big save by Bo Richter there, stopping the leading scorer point blank, and now Aquinas trying to get back, and another opportunity on the offensive end here. Can Aquinas convert, though?
Less than 90 seconds left in the third. Gauthier at the point, down to Tyson Marsh. Walker West whips it to Klinsky. Gauthier. That screen was set by Rogers. Less than a minute in the third now.
Only 25 on the shot clock here for the Saints. Rogers looking for a drive towards the middle so he can get that rocket of a shot off.
He passes back to Gauthier instead. That centering pass was blocked. Marsh tries to track it down. Instead, it's scooped up again by Gauthier. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Klinsky might not realize it, and he grounds the ball. And a fantastic defensive stand by Reinhardt again.
Yeah, you obviously credit where the Eagles not allowing any openings there, but a wasted opportunity there for Aquinas after a big save on one end by their goaltender, not able to capitalize on it. And now there's only 10 seconds left, so Reinhardt, maybe one last chance here if Anderson get up.
Anderson through the forecheck. 5 seconds left. Anderson coast to coast at a save by Bo Richter. And a beauty at that is Anderson, the NAIA Player of the Year for a reason, nearly took that one from one end to another. The clock has reached zeros here in the third. Reinhardt wanted a penalty for some reason.
Yeah, Banks was dumped right in front of the goal. Mills having a question with the official too, but nonetheless, Reinhardt 15 minutes away. We're making it a three-peat.
Boy, Reinhardt is red hot right now. After a perceived missed penalty, the bench is fired up. Reinhardt leads 9-3 over Aquinas. Any fight left in the tank for the Saints? Well, there's a lot of firepower for Reinhardt, led in particular by Bennett Jarrett. We've got the fourth quarter from Aquinas College coming up after this.
National Car Rental is the official automobile rental company of the NAIA.
Start of the fourth quarter, Reinhardt leads Aquinas 9-3 with a championship on the line. This is the 2019 Men's Lacrosse Invitational here at Aquinas College. Aquinas, the host school, the 6th seed. They have had a fantastic run. This is the best season in program history, but they are tasked with slaying a giant this afternoon. Reinhardt is the 2-time defending national champions, and they are 1 quarter away from making it a three-peat. That was a very physical third quarter we just saw. You can tell there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, a lot of emotion on both benches, too. Obviously, Aquinas trying to get physical, maybe trying to get Reinhardt off the game to get back into it. However, Reinhardt's been able to do the same back to Aquinas here, so both teams got to just be careful here, obviously not let their emotions get the best of them here with 1 quarter to go. And the Saints have obviously had an issue here against the number 1 team, and the Eagles have shown why they're back-to-back defending National Invitational Tournament champs.
Alongside Tyler Kuehl, Chris Foster is with you from rainy Grand Rapids, Michigan. There is a face-off violation, and it is Aquinas ball. We have flopped sides here to start the fourth quarter. Aquinas in the maroon, Reinhardt in the white.
I think if you're the Saints right now, if you get the goal here to start off this fourth quarter, gets an opportunity here to get some momentum going. First goal of every quarter is an important one here to establish momentum for that quarter. So if the Saints can take advantage of this possession and not waste like they've wasted the last couple, it'll be important here if they want to get any momentum to have any opportunity to come back here against the Eagles.
Klinsky jams on the brakes, pass in front, Nash West. That might have hit off the kneecap of Matt Webb, the goalkeeper for Reinhardt. Either way, another save, and here come the Eagles. Jalen McCray. Pass off to Bennett Jarrett. He is dispossessed, and Sam Needham scoops up the garbage for Aquinas.
That's a good stand there by Wagner to get in there, knock it out clean, and stop one of the top scorers here in this tournament. Jarrett wanted to make his way on through, but now Aquinas back on the offensive here.
Time is of the essence now for Aquinas, even with less than a minute and a half gone by off the fourth quarter clock. Aquinas needs 6 to tie.
We talked about in that first half, despite Aquinas being down, the sense of urgency.
Blake Baker, that should be a goal. That looked like it crossed the plane, but it is waved off.
I think that one rang off the iron there.
That was close, but that one is in, no problem, and no question about it. Nash West with the snipe, and Aquinas scores that coveted first goal of the quarter. It is 9-4.
Rogers, 4th point of the game to boot as well. It's 2nd assist, helping out with each goal of the Saints so far. But what a shot, too, by Nash West. His 3rd goal of the tournament. That one ringing off the post by Baker, bounced right back out. It looked like a good shot, too. But then just Rogers quickly moving it back over. And I was about to say, too, the sense of urgency that the Saints didn't have in that first half because it was only the first half despite trailing, they're going to have to pick it up here and quickly getting right on the offensive, quickly getting shots back towards the goal. That time, West able to get it through. And like I said, first goal of the quarter now is, can the Saints keep it going?
1:35 into the frame. 9-4 Reinhardt now, and that is a face-off won by Sam Werner. Werner wipes out. Ball rolls out of bounds. It is Reinhardt ball.
Werner thought there should have been a call to go his way, but I think it's just Werner slipping on this slick turf now as the water residuates on this turf field. It almost can turn into ice at some point if there's enough water on it. So now the Saints have to come up with another defensive stop here, but they may not have to. They may wait a little bit for any defensive opportunity, as the Eagles certainly don't need to press. And don't forget, coming into this tournament, the Eagles had only had one game, and that was their loss against the Cumberlands, where they did not score over 20 goals during the regular season. But at this point, especially at this stage too in this tournament, you really don't. It doesn't matter how many you score as long as you score enough here. That's why the Eagles have not had to score 20 goals. They've only had to score more than the other opponent here, and right now they're in a prime spot with a 5-goal lead.
Yeah, Reinhardt with 13 goals in its quarterfinal win, as that shot from Mills was blocked by Jake Lee. And in the semifinals for Reinhardt, 12 goals in their win over the Cumberland. So both totals well below their season average. There's a long shot from Zane Anderson, and it one-hops in.
Hat-trick goal for Anderson. And that one, I think it skipped just far enough out. Bo Richter thinking it was going to land low, but it skips about 1.5 feet in front of him. And enough spin on it, it's going over the top of the shoulder of the Saints goaltender. And that one may be the one that breaks the straw on the camel's back here for the Saints. Just a good hard shot. Good low shot, too. You could see it just skip right over just inside the post as well. These Eagles know where to put these shots, too. And Bo Richter, despite making a couple really good saves here in this game for Aquinas, just can't stop them all, unfortunately, as the Eagles go back up by 6.
Aquinas wins that face-off. Walker West down to Klinsky. Aquinas clearly playing with more tempo here in the second half. It just hasn't translated to nearly as many goals as Aquinas would wish, and that is a costly mistake, a turnover.
Yeah, it's an errant pass, too. And like I said, now you're going to try to see Aquinas maybe pick it up and try to be quicker on the offensive, but you still got to be aware of those smarter passes.
Yes. Pace makes waste.
Exactly. So now it's almost playing right into the hands of the Eagles now, forcing the Saints to step out of their comfort zone. As an offside call goes against the Eagles. Bench doesn't like it, but now the Saints will try to take advantage quickly on transition here.
Walker West, one hopper. Matt Webb with a brilliant save.
However, West was knocked down after the shot. I don't know if that was Pinson or if that was Connor Bean, but nonetheless, Saints will look to take advantage of it after the penalty or the foul, excuse me.
Rogers is freed by a screen on the pick and roll. Here's Nash West with the cut. He slips through 2 defenders. Could not get a shot away. An impressive drive by West, however, who finds Highshetter. Wrap around off the top of the crossbar, and it skitters out of play.
Aquinas just keeps getting good looks here in this second half, but just aren't getting them to go in, unfortunately. And credit where credit is due. Matt Webb making some good saves too, but he's got a lot of help here in the second half by the posts.
It's been a different feeling second half in that respect. Aquinas really has won the possession battle, that is, more so than Reinhardt, who dominated ball control in the first half. But Aquinas has just not been able to get anything past Matt Webb.
And I think that, you could say the scoring chances in favor of the Saints as well. The only difference being right now is the Eagles, throughout this entire contest for that matter, have been able to convert on their scoring chances, as the Saints have come close, but no cigar.
Samuels pressing up against Cam Rogers, who lost it and won't find it, but a whistle, that's a hold, and so Aquinas gets it back.
And Samuels thinks that Rogers held his stick, but Aquinas still with possession, though, nonetheless.
Blake Baker's got it for the Saints. Guarded by Lindsay for Reinhardt. Around the screen, Baker throws it through center. Players congregating for it. Conadu sweeps it up into the air, and Walker West brings it back for Aquinas.
Yes, it was touched by the Eagles first. That's why it wasn't over and back. So that allowed the Saints to knock it back in the offensive. So now they're going to get on the offensive territory.
Long-range shot by Cam Rogers is swallowed up by Webb.
You may look at Jarrett and Anderson for the offensive for the Eagles being the MVPs of this game, but it's got to be credit where credit is due to Webb and the entire defense for Reinhardt. With all these chances Aquinas had, if they're able to convert on at least 80% of these chances here in the second half, this could be a 1 or 2 goal game. But Reinhardt has been so dominant defensively all season long, especially in this tournament when they've needed to be most. And that is why they've shown why they are back-to-back champs and why they are stepping towards a possible 3rd National Invitational Championship.
And including this National Championship for Reinhardt, or National Invitational Tournament Championship game, Reinhardt has not allowed an opponent to score more than 7 goals on this stage. So Reinhardt's defense has been brilliant in moments like this.
And I believe the number was only 6 times this season. They've only allowed over 5 goals. And with the defensive stand right now, look out here.
Mills whips one off the stick of Gavin Banks, backed up by Zane Anderson, and he airmails one up against the screen behind the net.
But the point I was going with, I think it was only with the 2 games in this tournament thus far, I think it's only 5 or 6 games that the Eagles have only allowed more than 5 goals and only allowed 10 goals once. And that was to the Cumberland's Patriots in that loss early in the season. And that has been the only threat on the schedule, for these Reinhardt Eagles.
8 minutes remaining. Rain continues to fall. Reinhardt, like a python, sort of squeezing the life out of an opponent here with a lead, and very content to just sit on the rock. 40 seconds left on the shot clock of a possible 80.
And for the Saints, you almost have to try to press now defensively, and because else these Eagles will waste all time off the clock here.
Here's Zane Anderson. He skips in, shoots, save, Bo Richter. Here comes Aquinas. Kyle Gauthier, nice spin. And dish to Rogers, who's got some space. Keeps the cross on his shoulder. Here's Klinsky, who hooks one wide.
And they'll say that did go off Webb. Webb was able to make the save as they reset the shot clock on that one.
Klinsky. Gauthier in motion. Rogers in the middle this time. Now he drifts back towards the wing.
He thought he got high-sticked high there. The refs disagree.
Rogers lobs it down low. Klinsky with an extra pass, but Gauthier could not quiet it down.
Gauthier kicking himself on that one. A great opportunity as he was wide open in front of Webb there. But another misfire by the Saints.
Field wide pass, pulled down by Pinson. Just over the cross of Sam Needham, and Chad Huffman has it for Reinhardt. Lobbed back towards the center line.
Anderson's probably going to toe that line for the next probably 40 seconds, let's be honest here. That's why you see Needham try to come out and challenge, just to try to force the issue. But don't expect any sense of urgency like we talked off the top of this broadcast. The Eagles do not need to press, especially when they had the lead. Even in the first half, they were taking their sweet time with it. But, of course, they got the lead early and have not relinquished it, have not trailed at all in this tournament. And you can see with the play they've had here today why they are the best team in the NAIA.
"20 seconds on the shot clock now as Huffman winds up and blasts it in.
What a shot. You would think with only 13 goals this season now, how someone with a shot like that could only get so many goals. But like I said, there's been so much other firepower with this Eagles team that he doesn't need to score as many goals. But just a rocket of a shot, short side too, and Bo Richter thought he had the short side sealed up on that post. But just a nice little swim move here, gets around the man to the outside and just unleashed a rocket of a shot. Short side, not much Bo Richter could have done on that one. As the Eagles go up by 7 for the second time here this afternoon.
Dietrich comes away with it momentarily.
I think it was a face-off violation. I think it looked like one of the Eagles had jumped into the neutral zone area on the face-off, so that will allow the Saints possession, but Rogers' pass, though.
Intercepted by the goalie, Matt Webb. How about that?
He read that one perfectly. He kind of, well, look out here. Oh. They'll say loose ball push against Fitzgerald of the Saints, but when you see the kind of, when you're, especially as a goaltender too, regardless of what sport it is, you kind of see how the offense will work on a consistent basis. And usually when Rogers will get to, he'll go back behind the net for Klinsky to try to help set up the offense. And Webb knew exactly what was going to happen on that play. That's why he jumped out and was able to intercept the pass.
I think you hit the nail on the head a few minutes ago when you gave credit to Reinhardt's defense and in particular goalkeeper Matt Webb, the All-American. He's been magnificent today. There's a pass intercepted by Dan Dietrich. Here comes Walker West trying to set up a one-on-one situation, but Jack Hollis with more good defense by Reinhardt.
That's partially empty as Boerichter trying to block off any passing opportunity there. And it's funny, I've seen it before too, when the goalie comes out trying to block the pass, that some defenders will try to take that long shot too. But of course, sometimes that'll just give possession right back to their team. So especially in a game like this for the Eagles, no sense in risking those long-range shots, since at this point with a 7-goal lead, they are not needed with the clock winding down here in the fourth quarter.
Four minutes left. 4 minutes from a third straight national championship for Reinhardt.
Trying to get it over and back. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Good job by Fitzgerald putting the pressure on. Like I said, the Saints need to do that here in this late stage if they want any chance of what is looking like a very unlikely but possible comeback. I've seen it before where teams can score in bunches here, but the Saints will just need to take advantage of every offensive possession.
It would be less surprising to see a comeback by Aquinas, not to see their offense catch fire, but it would mean a rapid unraveling of Matt Webb's goaltending ability, and he has been a brick wall in between the pipes for Reinhardt through the first nearly 57 minutes of this game.
And while the saves that he's made haven't really been game-changing saves since the Eagles have been up for such an extended period amount of time, but his consistency has been the key to his game. As there's a high shot.
And a hold awards possession to Reinhardt.
I guess they can call that a hold on Nash West, even though it looked pretty apparent. It was more of a body check on the ground, as it looked like Keontae Dyer trying to clear it out.
3 minutes now. This is Keontae Dyer for Reinhardt, who had an assist in the semifinal yesterday. Dyer's in traffic, and he is fouled. That draws a penalty.
And Boerichter even threw the bye in there as well. I don't know which of the Saints will get a penalty or be the one tasked the penalty. Looks like it'll be Wagner going off. Wagner, obviously, not liking the call, and it looks like we're going to get a timeout because of it. Or a timeout taken maybe here by the Eagles. Dyer's a little slow to be getting up here, kind of clutching his side. Yep, timeout taken by the Eagles.
Well, Reinhardt can certainly feel it now. With under 3 minutes to go, they lead by 7 over the Aquinas Saints. Take your pick of weapons for the Reinhardt Eagles. An abundance of riches. That was Chad Huffman with his second marker of the day. Reinhardt closing in on a championship.
When a lot of people think of the NAIA, they think, oh, the talent level is less. The talent level is not as great. That is just not true. You know, there's some great athletes out here that maybe didn't have the size or the athletic ability to play at D1 or D2, but the talent level out here is tremendous. If I could give anybody advice or pitch that to anybody, I'd say give the NAIA a chance. It's a great place to play.
Back to AQ Athletic Field on the campus of Aquinas College. It certainly doesn't feel like the middle of May. It really feels like early April, but Reinhardt, a team coming up from northern Georgia, has not been affected by this weather whatsoever, as they are 2 minutes and 43 seconds away from sealing the deal here over the Aquinas Saints, who have put up a valiant effort here today and have had a fantastic season. 12 wins for Aquinas is a program record, and they are in the invitational tournament for the first time in program history and have made a championship run out of it, but are on the verge of falling just one win short of the ultimate prize.
And don't forget, they got in an at-large bid,
yes,
the 6th seed in this tournament, upsetting Lawrence Tech in the quarterfinals, then taking off Indiana Tech yesterday. It certainly was not the easiest road, whereas the Eagles, against a struggling Madonna team, and then taking on Cumberland yesterday, and credit where credit is due, Patriots putting up a great effort against the Eagles, but Reinhardt has been great for the last 3 years, and as you see right now, the reason why, except for a little bit of a low pass there.
Less than 2 minutes left. Here is Sam Needham, double-teamed, pushed down, and possession is given to Reinhardt.
Yeah, Needham kind of slid out of bounds there. Like I said, once this turf gets slick, it's very hard to do those quick transitions and those hard cuts that you'd like to do on a much more cleaner, fair surface.
And it was not raining at the start of this game, but as it has been raining for a little while now, it'll be really interesting to see how this affects the traction in the women's final coming up not long after the conclusion of this game. And we'll have that for you as well right here on the NAIA network. Gavin Mills dancing around. And there are now 60 seconds left.
It's Reinhardt trying to waste the clock out. Aquinas showing they're not going to give up too easily. Fighting till the end, as we've seen every team in this tournament do. Is
hard fall by Mills. Samasari Kanadu was applying defensive pressure there, and that is a hold.
And they're going to call it against, actually, that was Gavin Banks. They'll say he held the stick of Kanadu, but.
Yes, thank you, Gavin Banks.
But looks like maybe one last possession here for the Saints. Or not.
Or not. With the reset shot clock, if Reinhardt can get it across the center line, they would be able to bleed it out. But hold that thought. Here's Klinsky, one last chance. Walker West gets hammered.
There's a high stick coming up, I think, here against the Saints. Yeah, they're going to call that one, as that was Dylan Coleman with the high stick. On the slash, they're going to call for 1 minute. It was a little bit of a late flag once again, as Zane Anderson, too.
Yeah, the penalty went against Reinhardt.
Anderson.
Foul on number 2, Zane Anderson. 1 minute foul for slashing. Time of the infraction.
So the NAIA Player of the Year is going to be in the penalty box.
Well, Anderson did lay the body on West. However, I thought I heard the ref say it was red. It was against Coleman.
Well, you're right, because Coleman is in the box as well, unless there were offsetting or dual penalties.
No, maybe not. The ref said one thing, public address said another, but nonetheless, the Eagles looking to close it out here, the final 28 seconds, and just another incredible season here for the AAC team.
And you are right, Tyler. It was on Dylan Coleman of Aquinas. So that's sorted out. And Zane Anderson, it would have been somewhat odd to have the NAIA Player of the Year in the penalty box for the final 28 seconds of the national championship win, but I suppose it wouldn't have been the end of the world.
There have been weirder things before, but just the way this game has gone, who knows what would be next. And Huffman running around, maybe just running out the last 12 seconds of the men's lacrosse season.
Reinhardt's bench is on its tiptoes, ready to begin a national championship celly. They've done this before, they do it again, and it never gets old for the Reinhardt Eagles. They have just completed a three-peat. And there is officially a men's lacrosse dynasty in Waleska, Georgia. Reinhardt University, your 2019 NAIA Invitational Tournament champions.
Just an incredible season. Like I said, a dynasty built in only the 4th National Invitational Tournament. Eagles winning 3 in a row. As you can see, definitely the emotion in a lot of these players. A lot of happy faces, a lot of emotional faces. A humongous win for this program that has really shown that they are the best team. From day one on, you see Hunter Scott excited as ever so apropos Queen comes on the loudspeaker here at the Aquinas Athletic Complex.
Yeah, you go from Post Malone to Queen, sort of a new school and an old school song celebration for a national champion. So congratulations to Reinhardt, and we will step aside and return for the trophy presentation from Aquinas College as Reinhardt gets ready to host its 3rd straight Invitational Championship trophy.
When a lot of people think of the NAIA, they think, oh, the talent level is less. The talent level is not as great. That is just not true. You know, there's some great athletes out here that maybe didn't have the size or the athletic ability to play at D1 or D2, but the talent level out here is tremendous. If I could give anybody advice or pitch that to anybody, I'd say give the NAIA a chance. It's a great place to play.
We are back at AQ Athletic Field on the campus of Aquinas College. We have just witnessed Reinhardt defeat Aquinas in the men's championship game for the NAIA Invitational Tournament crown. 11-4 the final score. Reinhardt has won 3 of these in a row now, 2017, 18, and 19. And we are ready to take a look at the award ceremony, which begins with the runner-up team trophy awarded to Aquinas. And you always have to give out a runner-up trophy as well, Tyler. And boy, Aquinas played every bit the part of a champion in this tournament. They put forth an outstanding effort, really riding the wave of emotionally hosting this tournament, and it's a shame to see them fall just short, but what a season for this Saints bunch, and I think you'll have to keep your eye on them going into seasons to come as a contender.
Right, and obviously, you have Klinsky and Rogers both being seniors, but there's still a lot of young talent on this team for the Saints, so there is definitely a bright future here too, and the women's lacrosse team's not too far behind them, so unfortunately for them, next year will be down in Savannah, but we may see the Saints and maybe both Saints men's and women's teams at the National Invitational Tournament here in the near future.
Well, now, after presenting the runner-up trophy to Aquinas, we announce the winners of the all-tournament team, and to my knowledge, all of the schools have gone home besides Aquinas and Reinhardt, but a couple of players from the championship teams will be recognized as all-tournament teammates and team members. So Aquinas puts defender Matt Wagner, faceoff specialist Sam Warner, attackers Sam Klinsky and Cam Rogers on the all-tournament team. And Klinsky and Rogers were kept about as quiet, I think, as you can possibly expect to keep them. Credit Reinhardt's defense for that.
That's going to, a big thing, too. Like you see Samuels and Zach Pinson, 2 best defenders on the Eagles team. They really did a good job of neutralizing the high-powered attack the dynamic duo had, but you can see why they were named to the all-tournament team, because how they did in the quarterfinals and semifinals. And same for Wagner and Sam Warner. And Warner, who actually did pretty good on the face-offs here today. Just unfortunately for him, the Saints were not able to turn his face-offs into offense here this afternoon.
Reinhardt places midfielder and NAIA Player of the Year Zane Anderson on the all-tournament team, along with attackers Gavin Banks and Bennett Jarrett, who came up huge in the championship today. Defender Jacob Samuels, beg your pardon, is on the team, along with Matt Webb, the goalie, who was splendid today in the championship in particular.
Oh, and Matt Webb named the most valuable player of the National Invitational Tournament, and deservedly so, with the play he has had. Like we said, big saves today. And I'll be honest, and you know what? If he plays any less, this game would be a lot closer, and maybe Aquinas may have had a better chance. But that's just how good Webb has been this season for the Eagles, as they are awarded the National Invitational Tournament title for the 3rd year in a row.
So it is official now for Reinhardt. Make more room in the trophy case. And it remains the great test for all of the other teams in NAIA men's lacrosse to put together a squad that can knock Reinhardt off from this perch.
They will be graduating a few seniors, the Eagles will, but just looking at all the young talent that they still have throughout this entire lineup, including Gavin Banks and Zane Anderson as well, as he's still a junior. The Eagles aren't done yet. This may be 3 in a row, but we'll see next year and see how good the Eagles will be, and will be anyone be able to stop this dominant Eagles dynasty.
Well, we are officially now halfway through our doubleheader of championship lacrosse. On this championship Saturday, the NAIA Lacrosse Invitational continues with the Women's Championship coming up at 7:30 Eastern Time. So we invite you to please join us for that right here on the NAIA Network. Until then, for Tyler Kuehl, producer, director Alex Bousquet, and our outstanding crew. My name is Chris Foster. Is your final score once again: Reinhardt